Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to another F1 Fantasy Weekly, part 2 of your season review, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It is, it's coming out to you on Christmas Day, so I hope you've had a good Christmas and had nice festivities with your family. Obviously with the quiz that we had last week, if you haven't watched that already, check out the rounds. We had 5 rounds of the quiz with Aldas, Chazza, Raz on F1, the F1 debate show, and Mark came in as well. That was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But that meant that obviously we delayed our F1 Fantasy season review, part 2, for a week. Also, I would give a shout out at this stage to the marathon season review that was with Raz on F1.
How long was it again?
It was 3 hours and 55 minutes. Could it possibly be the most detailed season review ever?
You can just spend your Christmas Day evening with Raz and Michael.
Exactly. Just having a chat about F1. What's not to love about that?
But anyway,
we're here today and we're on fantasy. And last time out, we discussed the top 10 drivers of the F1 2019 season in regards to fantasy. And we also discussed the top 5 constructors. Today, what are we going to discuss, Stephen?
the rubbish guys.
Oh, brutal.
The guys you regret picking. The guys that had potential but didn't perform. The bottom 10 drivers.
And who else are we going to look at?
The bottom 5 teams that probably no one picked. For a good reason, which we will talk about.
Later on in this video. And so, we start off with the bottom 10 drivers, and coming in, obviously, P10 was Daniel Ricciardo.
Yep.
P11, to start things off. Who is your P11, Stephen?
Danny Kvyat. Although I'm just thinking he got the podium in Hog 9, but other than that, pretty unremarkable season.
But what came into him that was pretty good was that he did have a fairly good first half of the season, and he was cheap.
Because he was beating Albon as well.
He was also cheap though.
Yeah.
So that was very positive for Daniel Kvyat. So I think that's why he gets my P11 position. Value for money, got that podium as well. Was a pretty good return for your money for the general whole of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not bad.
Yeah.
Good first half, bad second.
If you had him in the first half, I think it was a very solid
Probably
pick.
worth it.
And then second half, it certainly would have drifted out. And then when Pierre Gasly's price dropped, if you wanted a Toro Rosso driver, he was your guy.
Gasly. When
Certainly
it eventually dropped down to normality.
Indeed. And in P12, I'm going to put it out there, Nico Hülkenberg.
Yep. Snap.
So it was solid, consistent point finishes. Wasn't great in terms of the normal F1 championship because he finished P14 in that. But he generally managed to get race streaks with consistent finishes in the points. And
top 10 racing in the races.
Yeah. He was
top 10 in qualies. He had an okay quali record.
But Renault, which is a bonus in fantasy, tended to qualify a little further back, but then would be finishing higher up. So therefore, they would always be gaining their
overtaken points. And
the negative for him was obviously missing out to Daniel Ricciardo
on a regular basis. He wasn't picking up those teammate points.
No, so. I think it was fairly close in the. Overall, it was fairly close, but in the points finishes, so where he would have really made up ground, it really was in Daniel Ricciardo's favour, I believe.
Yeah.
P13.
This is a tough one for me. I'm debating 2 people.
Yep.
I've got Kimi Räikkönen and Lance Stroll. And I think Kimi may just edge it for me because he had a very strong first half of the season. Second half of the season, Alfred did go downhill, but for me, Lance Stroll never got quality points. Got beaten by Perez on most of the races. Kimi was mostly getting those team points, and like I said, he had a very strong first half of the season.
I would agree with Kimi Räikkönen. Strong first half of the season. That teammate thing I think is massive. Also, Kimi out of those drivers would be getting the qualifying points because he was probably the most regular out of the ones to come, other than Lando Norris, of getting Q3 finishes. And yeah, finishing ahead of his teammate, getting that 4th place in Brazil as well was a good points return for Kimi. Was pretty solid. Not the best, but certainly a solid out of those guys remaining. So P13 for Kimi for me.
Yeah.
P14. In this one, I am going to go Lando Norris. Just because he has had some strong finishes. Yes, most of the time losing out to his teammate, but getting into the Q3, getting his bonus. The thing that probably affected him was qualifying so well and then dropping back in the race, generally a position or two from there. But then he became so cheap for a lot of the season that when you cashed in on his good performances, he was pretty good value for money.
Yeah, I actually forgot we hadn't mentioned Lando yet, so I would definitely put him ahead of Lance Stroll for, what were we on, 13th?
14th.
14th. Lando for 14th. The McLaren was just a very good car throughout the whole season, so yeah. I haven't got much to add from what you said.
And then for me, P15 would be Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Obviously, the Haas started off okay, and there were actually some very good performances. Obviously, he finished best of the rest in Australia, P5 in Austria.
Such bright beginnings.
I know. P7 in Spain as well. And I just think those sort of performances, although it dropped off towards the tail end, I think those just put him ahead of Lance Stroll for me.
It's a tough one. Because Lance had a couple of good races, but he also had a couple of unlucky races, like Brazil. Did he retire in Brazil? He got damaged in Suzuka when Leclerc didn't want to pit. Didn't he get caught up in that? Was that Lando?
No, that was Lando.
But he retired in Brazil.
He retired.
He got taken out by Vettel in Monza.
Yeah.
He also had a very good race there. He did have a good race in Hockenheim.
Hockenheim's the one that stands out for me.
Yeah.
And Magnussen only had 2 retirements all season.
But they really dropped off in the second half. They were getting like 0 points when they weren't retiring. It was just...
But I don't know how many Lance Stroll was getting.
Yeah. Because he wasn't getting that many points. Can't remember how many finished in total.
The only thing that might have saved him is overtaking points. Of usually getting knocked out in Q1 and then making up, usually finishing around about the 12th, 13th spot. Where Magnussen and Grosjean usually did the opposite.
Magnussen was being his teammate, he was getting those teammate points.
That was what edged it for me as well.
It's a tough one. I think I'd have to agree, just on those teammate points as well. Magnussen 15th, then I would put Lance at 16th.
And he's been brought into the conversation on several times, so P16 I think is Lance Stroll.
Yeah. So I wasn't debating Kimi and Lance, I was debating Kimi and Lando. Way back. But yeah, Lance at 16th I think is fair.
Yeah.
His quality laying down, Perez had a very good season.
And overall, those qualies finally do kind of eat into you.
Yeah.
Not getting into the Q3s because you don't open yourself up to the streaks. And then in the race, it then makes it more difficult to get into the top 10. and get streaks that way as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So in P17, probably going to put George Russell in this one. Early doors, I think he was very good value for money. Consistently beat his teammate. Well, beat his teammate in every session in qualifying. I believe it was 17-4 in races in his favour. And he finished, and generally through retirements, worked his way up through the field. It was only 2 retirements for him through the season as well. So
one of them with a helping hand.
But yeah, I would say, yeah, I will go P17 George Russell.
I think it comes down to the teammate points again. At this back end where people aren't getting championship points, the teammate points really matter.
Stack up.
Yeah, because you could be not being your teammate on a regular. They get points for. I think the teammate points count, and he out-qualified Kubica in every single race.
He did, yeah. 21-0.
He also probably outraced him in a lot of them.
Oh, it was 17-4.
17-4. So, yeah.
In P18 for me.
And he was cheap if you had him at the start.
Exactly, he was very cheap. He was very good value for money at the start as a consistent point scorer.
And he was so popular, his price actually came amongst like the Perez's and that middle pack.
Exactly.
His price shot up because everyone was going.
I'm convinced he was one of the highest scoring Formula 1.5 drivers for the first 5 or 6 races of the season.
Yeah.
Bar, just in general actually, because I think Kimi Räikkönen was up there. Obviously, Carlos Sainz didn't have a great start.
No.
And so yeah, it was difficult on that front. In P18, I will go Giovinazzi. I think his race finishes. Yes, he would consistently be losing out to his teammate, but the key thing for me in this one is probably retirements.
Yeah.
And I would say Grosjean out-qualified Giovinazzi, but Giovinazzi generally was in a better position in the race. And he didn't have as many retirements, so I think it's very close. But yeah, probably Gio ahead of Roman.
Yeah, I have to say. And there were a few mistakes in there. Giovinazzi has himself to blame in a couple of those retirements. But yeah, second half season he came back. I feel he had built a resurgence. But yeah, I definitely would put him ahead of Grosjean and Kubica.
Which then 19 and 20 I reckon are pretty easy. 19 Roman Grosjean still did do better than Robert Kubica. A few Q3s in there. A points finish in Spain. 8 to kind of Kubica's 1 point in the championship. Not a great season from Roman. Terrible car. But I think still better than Robert Kubica in terms of fantasy.
I'd be interested to see the points. Because Roman definitely had a better season. There were championship points in there. Kubica had 1. That doesn't really affect anything. He had hardly any teammate bonus points, no streaks, but Roman would have had a lot of minus points.
That's a very good point, because I'm pretty sure actually when we did the mid-season review that Grosjean was bottom because of minus points.
Just minus points.
But he didn't have as many retirements, but then he didn't really do anything to probably swing it in his favour.
Second half
there are a few 0
points
in there as well. In fairness then, they could potentially...
It's a tough one, but then you look at Kubica and you go, well, where are the points coming from?
Yeah.
Well,
maybe 2-3s.
Hockenheim would have got a lot, not just for the 1 championship, but obviously overtakes.
Isn't that like a maximum of 10 points though?
But then it's still 10 points.
10 for him is huge, yeah, agreed.
There are a couple of races, but then even his how many races did he end up retiring from?
2, I think, as well.
2.
I think both Williams were 2-2. We should know this from the quiz that we did.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was 2-2.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I'd actually be very interested, but obviously we spoke about it in the last review. F1 Fantasy is a bit rubbish at giving you all the final stats.
Yeah. Oh, we should clarify at this stage. This is why we're having a discussion about this, is because it is nigh on impossible. I mean, to be fair, we haven't checked this week. And there was meant to be an all-time one.
Was there?
Well,
it probably would have only done the top 5 though, like it does for the races.
Well, we could see. We've got a moment here. I can confirm that it still has nothing.
F1 Fantasy.
A big thumbs up from us. No, but seriously, we're going to go Roman Grosjean 19. We're going to go Robert Kubica 20.
Leave in the comments below which order you think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because obviously the top 10 was probably a bit easier to kind of decide between. In the comments below, make sure you kind of comment on your 11 to 20 and whether you agree with our order, because this one was a bit more up for debate. Yeah. So we now move on to the bottom 5 teams. And up for grabs, we have a Racing Point, Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, Williams, and Haas.
You got there in the end.
I
was worried for a moment.
It was a struggle. I was
like, oh no, he's not going to get there.
They've got forgettable seasons. I was trying to forget it for them.
There's not really much, because these are the teams that unless they were your team, because if you like support Racing Point, maybe you had them just because they were your team and you wanted them in your fantasy team. But these teams, I think quite a lot of people stay cleared of. But I do remember Racing Point having an unbelievable weekend, wasn't it? Or was that Renault?
Renault had an unbelievable weekend. But I think 6th, 7th and 8th are really quite tricky, because obviously there were some very good races. Obviously Toro Rosso had the 2 podiums.
Yeah. I'm just thinking...
Alfa Romeo had some fairly consistent ones with Kimi.
At the start. But then as a team you need both drivers.
Yeah. But they had the 4th and 5th in Brazil as well.
Yeah.
And then... you then have Racing Point, where Sergio Perez was very consistent in the second half. I think for me, I think the 2 podiums will win it, and I'm going to go Toro Rosso 6, Alfa Romeo 7, and Racing Point 8.
Okay. Well, and then Haas and then Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd agree, Toro Rosso I do think would have that 6th place, just because Gasly performed very well in the second half of the season. They had the 2 podiums in there. Kvyat was there or thereabouts. So then 6th, then I think Racing Point next 7th, and then Alpha, because I just seem to remember them having a couple of really good weekends at the end. Although I may be getting them confused with another team. I just remember them making the top 5 on a couple of weekends. But yeah, I go in Racing Point 7, Alpha 8th, Haas, Williams.
Yeah, I think 9 and 10 was already pretty much confirmed on that front, because even with Russell and Kubica doing it, I still think generally as a whole, Haas with their points would have finished high, because it doesn't quite... It seems to, when you're in the top, translate as exactly what your drivers get.
Yeah.
Add up to your total, but then it seems to get a little bit weird and...
sketchy, yeah.
Sketchy from within. I'm not entirely sure on that front. I'm not sure if you get penalised for finishing out the top 10. Something on that front. But anyway, guys, that is the bottom 10 and the bottom 5 teams of 2019, and that rounds up our season review in F1 Fantasy. And it's been our first... Well, it's been our trial season. We've been brought in halfway through a season to do testing.
Yeah.
And we've been given the nod.
We were the test dummies.
Yeah.
And now we're getting promotion to the dummies.
We are.
Yes, next season.
We've officially joined the dummies.
Yes.
We're proud to be representing them next year.
We're no longer the tests. We're the full-fledged dummies.
We are. And we are going to be excited to bring you your full season of F1 Fantasy. And we'll start off in the new year. I think we're probably looking forward in what we might want to see in F1 Fantasy in 2020 and those sort of aspects in there, and start to generally build up on there. But
we got a few things planned in the build up. Another Abu Dhabi race review. No.
Because it was just so good, wasn't it, Stephen?
But yeah.
Fantastic. But there is only one way that we can round off an F1 Fantasy Weekly, and that is with, of course, a Kimi moment of the season.
Season?
It's usually a Kimi moment of the week, but it's the last one of 2019. It is the last one of the decade.
Oh my god.
We have a Kimi moment of the season.
Here we go.
The Kimi moment of the season is, obviously, if Kimi didn't participate in this F1 season, he wouldn't be able to have gone to Alfa Romeo's Christmas do, would he?
No.
Unless he was a guest,
Very
plus
true.
one. No,
Alfa Romeo's Christmas dues are pretty, special thing to
he was there on merit.
On merit.
On right. He deserved to be at that Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
But Christmas parties, they tend to be kind of pretty fancy dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might
probably
kinda,
for Alpha, they're pretty prestigious.
Yeah, they might go in a suit or something. You might.
You want to dress up smart. You want to impress.
You would do.
You don't want to be. These are your people you work with.
Yeah, there might be a bit of fancy dress. Maybe like a couple of headdresses, like tinsel.
But the big
scarves.
bosses are there. You want to impress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you turn up in a monkey onesie?
It's an interesting choice.
Oh, it's great, and very reflected as well. It wasn't just kind of matte; it was gloss.
Gloss.
It was a gloss monkey. He was there. He was showing off. He was like, "I'm a monkey at this Christmas party, and I'm proud." And Kimi was fantastic there. And
you know what? I never thought about a monkey onesie.
Yeah.
Gloss. And now I just think it's the best possible outfit he could have taken.
It quite possibly is.
I bet those Alpha bosses were like, we've made a great choice with this guy.
I think
this is a serious, professional, elite driver.
I would agree with that completely. And you know what serious professional drivers do at a Christmas party?
What do they do?
That at fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Where you test your strength.
Oh yes.
And you have those hammer games.
Oh yeah.
And you got to hammer it, and you got to ring the bell at the top.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Kimi did.
So Kimi did.
And he rang the bell. He showed his strength.
Yeah.
Because he's been carrying Alpha all season, and he showed he's still got the strength to do it again next year.
They've been just on those shoulders whole season.
It's unbelievable.
On those monkey shoulders.
And he deserves this winter break. You know why the winter break is this long? Because Kimi needs a rest from carrying Alpha.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But he's going to be back even stronger next year. For even more Kimi moments of the week. He was ready for this.
He was ready.
And what a Kimi moment of the season.
To finish the decade on.
Hey, and what a decade of F1 it's been. And guys, I think all we have left to say is Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Hope you've had a great day. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't watched this on Christmas Day, we hope you had a great Christmas Day anyway. But for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.